Ever wondered how an African king's baptism in the 15th century could send ripples through history, forever changing the destiny of a continent? Let's journey back to the heart of Central Africa, to the mighty kingdom of Congo, where faith, power, and intrigue collided in a story that still echoes today. In the late 1400s, the Kingdom of Congo was a sophisticated and powerful state, stretching across modern-day Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gabon. It was a society with its own complex political structures, trade networks, and deeply rooted spiritual beliefs. But everything was about to change. The story begins in 1483. A Portuguese explorer named Diogo Cão sailed up the majestic Congo River. He wasn't just there to trade. Cão erected stone pillars, known as padrões, claiming the land for Portugal and, more subtly, for its god. He established contact with the Congo court, and in a move that would prove pivotal, took several Congo nobles back to Portugal. Imagine the scene. These nobles, immersed in the opulence and power of the Portuguese court, are introduced to a new faith, Christianity. They return to their homeland not just as travelers, but as the first seeds of a cultural and religious revolution. Back in Congo, the king, Nzinga Nkuwu, was a shrewd and curious ruler. He listened intently to the stories of his returned nobles and the Portuguese missionaries who followed. He saw the potential benefits: access to European technology, powerful firearms, and a strategic alliance with a growing maritime empire. Was it the promise of salvation or the promise of power that truly captivated him? On May 3, 1491, in a ceremony that would be forever etched in history, King Nzinga Nkuwu was baptized. He shed his Congo name and took a new one, João I, in honor of the Portuguese king. His capital city was renamed São Salvador. On the surface, it was a total embrace of a new world, but beneath the holy water, the reality was far more complex. King João I didn't simply discard his old beliefs. Instead, he attempted a delicate fusion. He tried to blend the intricate spiritual world of Congo, with its reverence for ancestors and nature spirits, with the doctrines of Catholicism. He saw the Christian cross not just as a symbol of Christ, but as something that could be integrated into his existing cosmology. This blending of traditions is what we call syncretism, and it would become a defining feature of Congo's history. However, this balancing act was short-lived for the king. The missionaries pressured him to abandon core Congo traditions, like polygamy, which was fundamental to the kingdom's social and political alliances. Faced with these demands, João I grew disillusioned. After just a few years, he largely reverted to his traditional practices, turning away from the faith he had so publicly embraced. The first chapter of Congo's Christian experiment seemed to be closing, but the story was far from over. The seeds of Christianity had taken root, particularly in one very important person, the king's son, Muvemba Nzinga. While his father turned away from the church, the prince embraced it with fervent devotion. When his father passed away, a succession crisis erupted. Muvemba Nzinga, who had taken the Christian name Afonso, found himself in a civil war against his half-brother, Mpanzu Akitima, who represented the traditionalist faction. Legend tells us that Afonso, though outnumbered, won a decisive battle. He claimed to have seen a vision of St. James and the cross in the sky, much like the Roman Emperor Constantine. With this divine victory, he secured the throne, becoming King Afonso I. Unlike his father, Afonso was no casual convert. He was a true believer. He declared Christianity the state religion and dedicated his long reign from 1509 to 1542 to transforming Congo into a devoutly Catholic kingdom. He learned to read and write Portuguese, corresponded directly with the Pope and the King of Portugal, and poured resources into building churches and schools. He sent his own son, Henrique, to be educated in Europe, who later became the first bishop from sub-Saharan Africa. Afonso envisioned a modern, Christian Congo, an equal partner on the world stage. He established a unique Afro-Christian court where Catholic rituals were performed alongside Congo traditions. This syncretism wasn't a compromise. For Afonso, it was a new, unified identity. He worked to create a local version of Christianity, one that resonated with his people. But Afonso's dream had a dark side, one that he battled for his entire reign: the slave trade. The Portuguese weren't just interested in souls. They were interested in bodies. The demand for enslaved labor for their sugar plantations in São Tomé and later Brazil was insatiable. Initially, the trade was limited, but it soon spiraled out of control. Portuguese merchants began bypassing royal authority, kidnapping Congo citizens, including nobles and even members of Afonso's own family. Afonso wrote desperate, heartbreaking letters to the King of Portugal, pleading for him to control his subjects. He wrote, "We cannot reckon how great the damage is. And so great, sir, is the corruption that our country is being completely depopulated." He didn't want to end all trade with Portugal, just the illegal and immoral trafficking of his people. But his pleas fell on deaf ears. The profits were too great. The very alliance he had nurtured through a shared faith was now threatening to tear his kingdom apart. After Afonso's death, the kingdom entered a long, slow period of decline. Later, rulers lacked his conviction and his skill. They found themselves caught in an impossible position, trying to maintain their authority and Congo traditions while placating ever more demanding missionaries and rapacious slave traders. The push for religious purity by European priests created friction as they attacked long-standing customs. The relentless expansion of the slave trade eroded social trust and destabilized the entire region. The unity Afonso had fought for began to fracture. Internal conflicts, often fueled and exploited by the Portuguese, weakened the central monarchy. The very faith that was supposed to bring Congo into a new, enlightened era became a tool of division and ultimately a justification for exploitation. The spiritual pact, once a symbol of hope and strategic genius, had become a poison chalice. So we return to our original question: was the Christianization of Congo a genuine spiritual awakening or a political miscalculation? The answer, like history itself, is not simple. For King João I, it was likely a strategic gamble. For his son, Afonso I, it was a profound matter of faith. But for the kingdom as a whole, it was a transformative and tragic journey. The story of Congo's conversion is a powerful reminder that history is never black and white. It's a complex tapestry of faith, ambition, betrayal, and resilience. The legacy of this period is still visible today in the vibrant Christian communities and syncretic practices of Central Africa. The baptized throne of Congo may have crumbled, but the echoes of its kings and their fateful choices still shape our world. What do you think? Was Afonso a visionary hero, or was he tragically naive? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that unravel the complexities of our shared history. Thank you for watching.